Hey, this is Charlene. It's just I am always excited and happy when I have an opportunity to speak with individuals, either on the show or in person, who have made part of their life's calling, their mission, their objective, their goal, the place of lending themselves to others, whether it is for people to write information and for them to read it and to have dialogue via the written word, or whether it's to have just conversations face-to-face, internet, networking, wherever it is. I'm always excited to have an opportunity to talk to people who are out doing that in the world. It's just so much a part of who I am. It's so much a part of what It's Just Us is all about. So joining me on the phone, and I'm going to have to pull myself down because I'm really excited, but joining me on the phone is Mr. Dennis Sumlin. I met Dennis a few years back as we connected through the Performing Arts Division of the National Federation of the Blind, and have kept in touch, via the social networks. It's a wonderful thing to keep people connected. Hadn't spoke to him in a long time, so welcome, Dennis, back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, and as you know, I'm really excited. So feel free to tap me on the shoulder and say, down, girl, if you need to.
Well, I'm excited, too, so, tap both of us on the shoulder.
Oh, wow. So as I mentioned, it's been a while since we've talked. What's been going on with you?
Well, as you mentioned in the opening, we met during the time I was the president of the Performing Arts Division of the National Federation of the Blind, working to bring notoriety to blind artists. But since that time, I have started my coaching and speaking business. I'm a personal development coach and a motivational speaker. And I've been doing that and bringing value and content to my clients and everybody else within the reach of my voice.
That's great. Yes, and that's what circled back around for me at this time to reach out to you and say, hey, what you doing? Let's chat. Let's talk about this. So your brand is Life Through Strength with Dennis Sumlin. And share briefly, Dennis, the why of it. Why was this something that you want to take on?
Well, this is something I wanted to take on because I felt like, certainly in my life and the life of people who I've known, many times we are disconnected from ourselves. Many times that the person on the inside is not the person that everybody sees. Our desires and our passions and our wants and our needs aren't always delivered in front of everybody because there's a disconnect between what's on the inside and what's on the outside. And when there is a disconnect like that, we end up living other people's dreams. We end up getting jobs that other people think we should have. We end up getting married because other people think we should. We end up doing a whole lot of things that other people think we should do, and we never completely pay attention to who we are, and we never completely get into our own passions and pursue things that we feel are right for us, things that resonate for us. So I wanted to be able to play a role in assisting people to not only get to know themselves better, but be comfortable with who they are and get comfortable with pursuing the things that they want to pursue, get comfortable with people developing their own natural talents, get comfortable with people pursuing the relationships that they want and the career that they want. And that's why I'm doing it.
Did you have an aha in there for yourself personally? Were you someone who found yourself doing whatever, you listed several different categories or in there. Were you someone who found yourself doing something to please someone else and had your aha moment?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of factors in my own personal journey. One, I am blind, and sometimes when you have a disability or when you're part of any minority group, you tend to feel dismissed and discounted, and so that's kind of how I felt with people having stereotypes against blindness and so forth. So that's one element, and also I found myself trying to live up to a imaginary structure of what a man is. You know, a man is supposed to be strong. He's supposed to not fear anything. He's supposed to not cry. He's supposed to do this, that, and the other, when that's really not real. And I found myself trying to live up to some impossible ideal that really no one can live up to. And so because of that, you know, I lived my life thinking I'm supposed to do one thing and really ignoring what I really wanted to do, really ignoring parts of myself that was important for me to have paid attention to. So I spent many years, you know, in and out of depression and wondering how I'm going to navigate this thing called life, realizing that at some point I got to a point where, you know, living up to someone else's expectations or living up to an imaginary model of manhood and all of these things really wasn't getting me anywhere. It really wasn't doing anything. It didn't speak to the person who I really was. And I looked around and I see that a lot of people didn't really have the kind of support that they needed to become their full selves. And I wanted to do something about that both for myself and for other people as well.
Okay. And I believe I read that a large portion, or is it 100% of your client base are men?
A large portion. I have coached women as well, but a large portion are men. Many of them are men who are struggling with their own self-image or their own image of manhood. Many of them are men who fit into a minority group and they feel like they've been ignored or erased by larger society's ideas. So, yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned self-image, self-esteem, self-image. I am doing a show with my talk show around image and self-esteem, and really wanted to have the guests talk to on that subject as it pertains to men, because, you know, when we're watching different things on TV or hearing things on radio or just listening to people talk in general, so much of conversations around image and self-esteem are women. But we know that men are dealing with the same issues as well. What are some of the areas that you're finding that men are really struggling with as it pertains to their image and self-esteem?
Well, there's several fronts, but I'll touch on a few of them. For me personally, you know, me being blind, a lot of society does not consider a blind man a man, and so I found myself kind of adopting society's philosophies of that, and it harmed my own self-image. That's one. Also, a lot of men are struggling with depression. There's a lot of depression among men because society doesn't allow them to express themselves openly in the full range of their humanness. You know, men can't cry. Men can't show weakness. The only thing that men are allowed to do is show anger and compete. And that really is not the full dimensions of a human. So there's a lot of men going through depression, and that's the reason why there's a lot of alcoholism, there's a lot of spousal abuse, there's a lot of everything, because men aren't allowed to be their full selves, or else they'll be judged as lesser, weaker, and that's a problem. Also, you know, there are men who don't really have good male role models in their life because the men in their life are under the same kind of thinking about what it is to be a man. And so we need a safe space for men to be able to explore who they are, release old belief systems, release anger and hurt from the past, and really align themselves with their humanity.
I wanted to keep talking about this for a minute, but let's take a quick break. Let's take a break real quick. And when we come back, I do want us to pick up where we are now, because you and I spoke a lot, really offline, and we're touching just a little bit on what you and I spoke of. So hang with me for a few minutes. Okay, we'll be right back. Back with us. With me again is Mr. Dennis Sumlin. Dennis is a life coach, and his brand is Life Through Strength with Dennis Sumlin. And we were talking before the break, excuse me, and we were talking before the break around expressing one's true self and being real, and that always touches a place with me because there's something that It's Just Us really embraces as part of the mission of the show. We want this to be a place of a safe place for people to come and share their authentic stories, their authentic selves. And as you shared, Dennis, there are so many people, we won't just speak of men, but there are so many people who, for whatever reason, are out in the world doing what we do, that have to, or feel that we have to hide behind this mask of whatever it is to not let our true selves out for fear of, and a lot of times that fear becomes a reality of being judged or being ostracized even, or categorized of being a certain way because we open ourselves up to it. I know you may not have the answer to this question, but just in your thoughts and your opinion, how do we walk that out? How do we be that genuine person? And I know every situation doesn't call for, just totally letting your guard down and letting your hair down and you casting your pearls, if you will. But how do you think we can get more comfortable in truly being ourselves, knowing that we're not out here alone? I think a lot of people don't share these things because they think they're the only one who's going through it, or even if they're not the only one, like you said before, I have to present to be strong, I have to present to be level-headed, I have to be the leader, the man, all these attributes. But at the end of the day, when I go home and I lay down and I'm by myself in that moment, I know who I am. I know who I am when I come home. So what do you think are some of the ways that we can empower people to embrace more of the authentic selves coming out versus the introvert and living lives of depression and all these other different things?
Well, I can answer that by sharing my own experiences on how I came to do this for myself.
Okay.
After several years, I would say maybe 15, 16, 17 years of bouncing in and out of depressions and trying to figure out shortcuts around the process, eventually I got to a point where I said, you know what do I really want? I had to stop and challenge myself. What is it that I want? What is it that I feel? And I sat down with myself and thought about it and really worked at, what do I really want? What are my values, instead of clouding it over with society's values? And so it's not an overnight process, certainly, but it took me some time to really weed out what I felt versus what society told me I should feel. And that's the important thing. We should be open to challenging ourselves, because we all want a good, productive, happy life. Most of us want that. We just don't know how to always go about it, because society's messages gets mixed in with ours, and we tend to get confused on which is which. So I sat down with myself, and I said, well, what do I want? Well, how do I feel? I had to clarify my values, my principles, the way I felt about society, people. And once I did that, I had to say, now, how am I going to get this? And I had to challenge myself again. How am I going to get what I want? And I almost was left with no choice but to be genuine, because once I got my values and principles clarified, I had to figure out, well, how am I going to get this valued, principled, happy lifestyle I want? And I almost had no choice but to be genuine. And once I decided that I have to be genuine, then I went about deciding the kind of environment I would thrive in to be genuine, which means deciding what kind of people to have around me, what kind of people should I be working with, what kind of friendships should I be maintaining, all of those things. So it is a journey, but it's certainly something that I felt I had to do for myself in order to get to the point where I can be truly happy with the life I'm living, instead of being pseudo-happy with society's life.
And piggybacking on what you were saying about having no choice but to be honest with self, I share as often as I need to with people. And when I say I need to, it isn't because I feel like I need to share this, but in conversations with them and just hearing where they are and hearing their heart, people in different circles draw from the scripture or from the statement or the quote, whichever one it comes across different ways, but in that ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Some say it shall set you free. And my understanding of that and my aha as it pertains to that is truth is truth regardless. I can say the sky looks a certain way. You can say the sky looks a certain way. Someone else can say it looks a certain way. The truth is the sky looks the way that the sky looks. It's all, different perceptions of the sky. So the truth is what it is, whether we know it or not. But the freedom comes when your knower knows truth. Like you were saying, I had no choice but to be real and to be honest and to face my truth. And I think that is truly, if I can say true one more time, I think that is truly where some of the freedom, that's when freedom really comes, when we accept that and when we embrace that part of ourselves. Now, it's hard. It is a hard place to be. It's really challenging to get there because it causes you to face everything. You just can't just wake up one morning and say, boom, it's not quite like that. You have to really want it. You have to be open to it. And so I think that when you shared that you had no choice, I think that is so appropriate and so accurate, because we at some point, if we really want change and if we really want to redirect some of the aspects of our lives, we will get to that point where we have no choice but to ... We just have to ... So I want to take another break right here real quick and come back, and I want to focus more on some of the services that you offer and talk about your speaking opportunities as well. So we're going to focus a little bit more on your life coaching and speaking. You as a speaker, is it motivational speaker, I'm presuming?
Yes.
Yes. Want to talk more about that when we come back and give you contact information and all that good stuff. You're listening to It's Just Us Radio Show. I'm Charlene Bowden with Mr. Dennis Sumlin. Be right back.
It's just that we're radio show. Many stories to be told. It's just so clear. The more we hear, life unfolds. No matter where you are, from near or from afar. Now is the time to go for what we know. It's just us radio show. Everywhere they go, walking to and fro, whether fast or slow, people wanna grow, and they wanna know how to be happy. They wanna be happy. Trying to fly high, trying to touch the sky, caught up in a life, wanna run high, on a wrong way ride to get too happy. Whoa, happy. You're looking for happy everywhere. You're looking for happy. Can't find it nowhere. Looking for happy. Looking for happy. Yeah, oh yeah. Confusion all around. Don't know where to start the ground. And the world looks upside down. Everybody turn to the ground. So caught up in a small screen. Life ain't always what it seems. Some people go to the extreme and they wind up losing steam. Oh, happy ain't a place. It's when you see your face that you crave. Lay with the only one who saves. Oh, ancient of days, I'm so glad to give you praise. Happy, oh, everywhere. Looking for happy, can't find it nowhere. Looking for happy, looking for happy. Yeah, oh yeah.
The waitress, yeah, shout it. You can bounce all night till the morning in the club. Trying to front like you a baller with your bottle of bug. But you broke and you know it, and when you get through, your problem's still there, the bill still due. So what you go and do, you put your bill in your baby name. Generational curse, not to mention that's a shame. Catch a bus to the house store for weave and a knockoff. Trying to buy you some happy, but your soul just lost. See, cause what you trying to get, you can get from material things. See, cause what you trying to get only come in Jesus' name. See, cause what you trying to be, you can't be all by yourself. See, cause what you trying to do, you won't definitely need some help. Check it. I got a plan, put your hands in the hands of the man that rules houses and land. Health and strength, definition of happy. Keep your perm and your straight and comb. I like my head nappy.
back. Dennis, I have enjoyed this time with you so much. I have enjoyed. Hopefully, I haven't been rambling on too much.
Oh no, this is great. I think this is a very important topic for many people for many people to hear, because so many of us, and me included, get what we want all mixed into what everyone else wants, and then it becomes, I don't want to disappoint my mother, or I don't want to cut this friend off, or I don't want to whatever. But what we do when we do that is sacrifice who we are. We cut off parts of ourselves in order to satisfy others. Also, speaking as a man, like, I got to be strong. I can't cry. I can't do this. I can't do that. And if we limit our range of emotions, that stuff kind of backs up on us, and that's where you get to the depression and the alcoholism and the anger and stuff. You don't want stuff backing up on you, because it's going to destroy you. So once again, it goes to a choice of, what do you truly want for your life? Do you want to spend your life satisfying others to the detriment of yourself? Do you want to spend your life being depressed and having hidden anger and taking it out on others, because that's what's going to happen? Or do you want to live the best life you possibly can, being your true, genuine self? We all have that choice, and for me, it's like, well, I don't want to spend more time in depression. I don't want to spend more time with anger. I don't want to spend more time trying to be the imaginary Superman that never existed. I want to be me, the full expression of who I am.
Absolutely. So, in speaking a little bit more, as I mentioned, about your company, your services, let's talk a little bit more about Life Through Strength and your coaching services and things of that nature. What is it that people can expect when they contact you?
When they contact me, they can expect, when I speak to new clients, I assess what their challenges are as far as what's going on in their life. Many of them have issues as far as relationships are concerned, how to best communicate with someone in a relationship, and also, even before that, what they actually want out of a relationship, because many of us get into relationships because of what we think we want, or because of any other superficial reasons, and that's why a lot of relationships don't really work out, is because we aren't being our true selves, or we're only showing part of ourselves to our mate and not the full self. So they can expect that we would talk about what they really want out of a relationship, what they really want out of a partner, and also what they really want out of friends, because friends are vitally important. That sets the atmosphere. So, what is your environment? Who do you hang out with? How do you spend your days? Does that truly match who you are? So people who hire me could expect that we're going to explore what is your environment, and is that environment really conducive to bringing forth who you truly are? Also, they can expect talking about career and personal goals, how to achieve those goals while being the best version of yourself possible. And of course, throughout all that, of course, we'll come across confidence and self-esteem issues as well, because usually if you're not being your full self, you may have lack of confidence. You may have adopted other people's images of you instead of your own. So they can expect deep work on how to be their best self and how to set the environment where they can be their best self.
Sounds good. And as a motivational speaker, are there any particular speaking opportunities that you, I hate to put you in this situation. Okay, so I won't put you in this situation. Tell me about you as a motivational speaker. What type of events have you been speaking at?
Well, I've been speaking at events. I'm part of a group called Toastmasters, and so I've been speaking at many Toastmaster events. I've also been speaking on my own website, because if you join my mailing list, which we'll get to in a second, you'll be sent some free material, and you'll have access to more material. And most of those packages have me speaking. about things, as well as presenting projects that people can start doing to discover who they are. In fact, I was just talking about passion yesterday at a speaking event. I was talking about what sets you on fire, what is your real passion, and how to go about finding that passion, and whether that passion aligns with who you are or not. So I was just speaking about that. So a lot of the events I speak at have to do with passion, values, principles, and the environment that you set up for yourself, because we all are in charge of the environment we have. Nothing is really forced on us. We have control over the friends we have, the relationships we have, the things that we pursue. So those are the things I talk about when I'm speaking.
Okay. When I close out my shows, most of the shows, excuse me, I share my statement is, I hope that you continue to happen to life. And I think that's very important, because people, for the most part, we move about seeing what's going to happen to us. You know, if I walk out the door, is this going to happen? Is that going to happen? But few people operate in the vein of, let me go out here and happen to it before it happens to me, you know. So, that sounds good. Contact information.
Yes, contact information. You can go to my website, visit my website at www.lifethroughstrength.com. If you go on that site, you will find an opportunity to sign up for my mailing list, and you'll get the free, what I call, 6-pack value program, which will help clarify your top 6 values and so forth. So it's a free program once you sign up for my mailing list. Also on my website, you'll find my blog in which I write articles about such topics, values, friendship, relationships, and also the history. Also, I talk about history, about the history of stigma and concept, trying to break down some of these belief systems that are disempowering that we seem to have adopted. So feel free to go to my website and explore that. Also, my email is dennis@lifethroughstrength.com. Feel free to email me with any questions you may have about such topics, and certainly I'd be happy to speak with anybody.
You know, I just had a thought, Dennis. Of course, I want you to keep in touch with me and come back on the show whenever you have a chance to come back and chat. But let's talk offline about your giving a weekly Life Through Strength message through It's Just Us.
Yeah, that would be great. I would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, I just heard that when you were speaking. I always either have told you or think about telling you that you have a great voice. Anyway, and so I was just listening to you give your contact information. It's like, you need to do more in radio. I know you've done radio, but you need to do more in radio as well. And it's like, Life Through Strength with Dennis Sumlin, weekly through It's Just Us radio show. We're going to make that happen.
Oh, well, I definitely appreciate that. You know, I definitely want to spread the message of self-actualization. I definitely want to spread that message. You know, there's 2 quotes I'm thinking of right now. One by a coach named Farrah Gray, and she says, live your dreams or someone will hire you to live theirs. That's one quote that came to mind. And another quote that came to mind, which is a quote that I have on my website made by me, if I want to know my future, I will tell me.
You know, I saw that.
That's right. If I want to know my future, I will tell me. You decide you decide your future. You decide your destiny. You can build that. Nobody else can do that for you.
Absolutely. Yes, I love it. I saw that as well. And it's like, oh, I love that.
Yes. We have there is a page on my website that's full of quotes, and I love all of those quotes. I mean, some of them stand out more than others, but all of those quotes are great. Just like there's another one I thought of, I have failed over and over again. That is why I succeed. And that basically points to you can't be scared to pursue your dreams. You can't be scared to pursue who you are. Life has its ups and downs. But if you go through all the failures that you may have in life, you will succeed.
It is so good, though. It is so crippling. It is so crippling. We just come back on and talk about fear on a different show, but that is really a big topic, and so many people are operating in some level of fear. But give your website again.
My website is www.lifethroughstrength.com. That's www.lifethroughstrength.com.
Sounds good. And you definitely will be hearing Dennis's voice more, as I mentioned. We're going to bring him back with some weekly nuggets to share with our audience and with the world, because there are so many people who just need that, whether it's to get over their next hurdle, to get over their next situation, to get over that bump in the road, or whatever that is. So I definitely want to have some strengthening and motivating and encouraging messages come through this show as much as possible. So stay tuned to It's Just Us to hear Dennis's voice some more, to hear our other guests. I really appreciate you tuning into the show, and I want to thank again Mr. Dennis Sumlin for calling into the show. And I'm Charlene. I will be back in a few moments. Stay tuned.
This is Tawana Leal, and you're listening to It's Just Us Radio with Charlene Bowden.
The It's Just Us Radio Show.
We hope you enjoyed the show. For guest consideration, please email us at itsjustusradio@gmail.com. Also, let's keep the conversation going. Join us on our social networks on Facebook and Twitter. It's Just Us is brought to you by CSC Management Group, It's Just Us Productions, and Future Quest Services. Please join us every Thursday here on carrotvoiceradio.org at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another broadcast of the It's Just Us Radio Show with your host, Charlene Bowden.